Hi, you're listening to This Is Not Your Practice Life. I'm your host, Macy Renee, and we are going on a journey together, my friends. I'm a certified life and emotional intelligence coach. And if you really want to step into your highest self, there are a few non-negotiables you're going to have to learn, and I am just the person to help you do it. No matter your past, I'm here to help you create a more fulfilling future. So stick around with me. Not only will I teach you how to navigate your brain's daily mind drama, but I'll help you actually understand your mind, your emotions, why you do the things you do, and why others do the things they do. Most importantly, I'll help you build the self-awareness skills to create whatever results you want. It's never too late to change the trajectory of your life. After all, this is not your practice life. Hello, my friends. Welcome back to another episode of This Is Not Your Practice Life podcast. My name is Macy, and I am happy you're here today. So this was a requested topic from several weeks back, and it was about mentoring. Is it valuable? Is it not valuable? So let's talk about it. I don't think it'll be a long episode, but I still think it's an important one to cover, especially because what is the difference between a mentor and a coach? So let's get into it. Okay, so here is the thing with mentoring, and I'm going to do a little blend of, I'm going to read you what Google says a mentor does, and then I'm going to compare that to the difference in typically what a coach does. Okay, so according to Google, a mentor may share with a mentee or protege information about his or her own career path, as well as provide guidance, motivation, emotional support, and role modeling. A mentor may help with exploring careers, setting goals, developing contacts, and identifying resources. Another thing that is mentioned a lot just on Google around being a good mentor is that typically they listen and act as a guide for the mentee, suggesting possible courses of action and helping them think through and act on their concerns. They do a lot of teaching and guiding, advice and feedback, and give support. And there's never really an end date. A mentee or a mentor can be with you for years and years and years, decades and decades. And also with a mentor, a lot of times it's directly related to giving a lot of advice based on you wanting to go down a similar path as the person mentoring you. So the way that I think about this too is if someone approached me, which people have in the past, and they've said, will you mentor me as a coach? I think I want to be a coach, and I'm looking for some mentoring to know like what you do and how you do it. And they really are looking for what is the formula, right? What have you done? What has your path been? What are your steps? Can I model any of that? Can I take that and make it into, what I'm going to do with my journey in becoming a coach as well? So same is true for whenever I was just getting out of occupational therapy school. I found some OTs that did what I wanted to do, which was earlier intervention for birth to age 3. And I would consider them mentors. I reached out to them to text them and say like, hey, here's this paperwork. How do I do this? Hey, I just had to take this training. How, difficult is the rest of it? What would you do in this situation? What would you do on this assessment? And they would always give me the feedback based on what they've done, their path, what advice they have based on their experiences. Now, how does this differ from the experience that you may have with a coach? Okay, with a coach, it's typically not voluntary, kind of like mentorship is. With a mentor, you will get approached. Somebody might ask, hey, will you mentor me and show me how you do this in law, or how you do this as a teacher, or how you do this in coaching, or will you show me how you do this in parenthood and how you do this as a mom or a dad? And coaching is a different kind of ball game in the sense that you are entering a very structured relationship, not where you're trying to get advice from the person that's coaching you, but gain skills that are going to help you gain more insight into yourself and what path you want to take, even if that's completely different than the path of the coach you're working with. Okay, so like for instance, it would be different for me, like if I wanted to be mentored by a coach, the understanding would more than likely be that I am going to kind of follow them around. I'm going to ask them a lot of questions. I'm going to try and get their advice. How do you do this? How do you run ads to this thing? How do you come up with your content on this thing? I'm really struggling with this week. Can you offer me any kind of support? And it's going to be like a really good, I think of it like a big sister relationship, where someone kind of swoops in and, checks on you emotionally. What's going on? How can I support you? How can I, kind of guide you through this season? Here's everything that I've done, follow these steps and more than likely you'll be able to do this, and that. Whereas when I hired my coach, I was never looking for her advice on how she did specific things. It was more so the introspective work on what do I have going on in my mind? Help me find the blind spots to see what's going on in my mind. It's more of a neutral party rather than, so like a coach, for instance, is going to be more neutral, whatever decisions you're making. Like, let's say you share like, oh my gosh, my partner had an affair. I don't know like what to do about it. I'm so devastated, this, that, and the other. With a mentor especially who's maybe been through divorce, been through a partner having an affair, they're going to give you all of their experience. They're going to give you all of their advice. They are going to like take you under their wing and be like, listen, you need to know this, you need to know this, you need to probably hire this divorce attorney, you need to watch your back for this, you need to do this. And it's going to be like, here's steps A through Z. Just follow this. I've got you, right? And come to me whenever you have additional questions and you need anything. Whereas a coach is going to ask you, well, like more introspective questions about how you feel about what has happened. What do you want to do about it? What thoughts are you having? What emotions is it bringing up? What results do you want to create? And then the coach is going to help you develop the skills to go the direction that you want to go and to get the results that you'd like to get in your life and to have the skill set to navigate what you will need to navigate in order to create the results that you want. It's not the coach saying, here's step A, B, C, do this exactly like this because I've gone through it and I know the way for you. It's very much a step back of how do you want to do this, and let's empower you to do this your way. So the same thing is true for if someone comes to me in a coaching relationship and they have a coaching business, they might ask me how I do certain things and I might share that with them. But more so, I'm going to ask very introspective questions about how do you want to do things? When it comes to your personality and your learning style and your teaching style and your coaching style and what you love, how do you want to do this? Because I could show you my way, but just because it's my way doesn't mean that it's necessarily going to work for you. So the more empowering thing for you may be, let's figure out why you feel maybe you have to do it a certain way or feel you have to do it my way. And let's empower you with the skills to do it your way or to get the results you want. There may be a completely different path that you're taking to get where you want to go than what I ever had to do. So that is kind of the difference between that mentoring relationship where someone's really teaching you their way and how they did things versus a coaching relationship where someone's coming in and they're like, these are the results I want. These are the goals that I have. Instead of it being like, give me all the advice you have, which sometimes my clients do try to ask me for, which they've learned very quickly. Like, again, I don't mind to share my testimonies with anybody. I don't mind to be very personal about what I've chosen and why I've chosen it. But the goal of coaching is not that I hand you a manual of everything I've done and say, read the manual and follow this manual to a T and it'll work for you just like it worked for me. That's not what coaching is. It's more so like I have my manual that I've developed over my introspective work, over my mindset, my emotional intelligence, my experiences, my past, my history. And you also have a manual that you're going to be developing as well. My job as the coach is to help you develop a manual that you really love and can utilize for your life and your history and your past and your future and your present and all of the things. So does that make sense? I love this question. I think it's a very valid question. And obviously, like a coach relationship is usually like a paid exchange relationship where it's very professional, whereas mentorship, again, it kind of reminds me of like having a big sister, having a big brother, having someone that, could mentor you for 20 years, and it's never really an ending to the relationship. It's something that's constantly ongoing of like, here's how you do this and here's how I'll help you navigate this. And, there's not so much an end point as with coaching. Someone can have a goal and they might meet that goal in 6 months, in a year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years. It doesn't matter, but they kind of have their finger on the pulse for how much coaching they want for any specific thing. And sometimes what happens is people get coaching on certain things, they reach goals, they step away for a little bit, and then when they have new things they want to work on, they come back. Whereas a mentor is pretty much going to be there forever just based on what that mentor has agreed to help with. So I even follow an influencer that I really love following on Instagram, and she talks about how she meets with a mentor. I think it's like once every 2 weeks or once a month, and it's a mentor to help her with motherhood. She wanted help on motherhood, in having a career and also being a very present mother. And the person that she wanted, and found to mentor her is someone that is not on social media at all, but does have a business and is a mother and is a very present mother. And so with mentorship, you kind of find that person that's living the life you want to be living and kind of get taken up under that person's wing, if they're willing. And, really learning how they do things. Where as a coach, it's like, I'm inspired by what you're doing, but I want to develop the skills to create kind of my own way and do this, in such a way that feels empowering to me, which may be completely different than how you're doing it. And so a coach is going to help you develop all of those skills to navigate your challenges, your goals, what you want out of the future, what you're trying to work through of maybe your past or your present moments. And so that's really going to be the difference between the two. So I hope that this episode helps you. And if you have any questions, of course, reach out. You are always welcome to schedule a free 60-minute consult. And also, I would love to ask that if you are finding the podcast helpful, if you really enjoy the episodes, if you've been a longtime listener, or maybe this is your first one, but you've just found it helpful, if you could go leave a Google review. All you have to do is click the link to my website, where you will find the podcast tab. If you click that podcast tab, it will take you to the page where you can leave a Google review for me. And I always appreciate those so deeply. So if you don't mind to do that, but otherwise, if I can help you, reach out anytime. I'd be happy to do so. All right, I'll see you next week. Hey there. Thank you so much for joining me on today's episode of This Is Not Your Practice Life podcast. If you'd like to connect on social media, you can find me on both Instagram and Facebook at Macy Renee Coaching. And if you want to stay up to date on all of my offers, announcements, and inspirational emails, you can join my email list at macyrenee.com. In addition, if there's a way that I can further support you in your coaching journey, you can schedule a free 60-minute consult at macyrenee.com anytime you want, so we can discuss the best options for you. I look forward to seeing you next week, and I hope you have an amazing day. Bye.